Gautam Buddha. When Prince Siddhartha was born, astrologers told his father, King Suddhodana, that the boy would become either a great king or a great sannyasin. The father did not want him to become a sannyasin, so he brought him up carefully without allowing him to see any sights which were likely to create dispassion in him. His palace was filled with young and energetic servants. The gardens were maintained in such a way that no dried plants were visible. When the king and the queen started aging, they dyed their hair black so that their son could not detect signs of old age. Thus, the boy grew to the age of 29 without knowing the facts of life. He was married to a beautiful princess whose name was Yashodhara. They led a happily married life, and soon a baby boy was born to them. Siddharth's life was now complete with every joy. One day, Siddharth wanted to visit the city. When the king was approached with the request, he fixed up a sightseeing trip for him, making sure that no unhappy sights came his way when he was outside the palace. But when he was out driving, Siddhartha saw an old man bent double with age, walking slowly with the help of a stick. He was shocked at this sight. He asked Chenna the charioteer why the man walked in such a peculiar way. Chenna replied, "Oh, Prince, the man is very old." "Really?" exclaimed the prince. "Do we all become old, Chenna?" Chenna said, "Yes, Prince, one day we will all become old and feeble." Siddharth became thoughtful. After a while, he saw a sick man coming from the opposite direction, shivering and groaning. Again, Siddharth asked, "Tell me, Chenna, why is this man behaving in such a strange way?" Chenna replied, "The man is sick and is suffering." Then Siddhartha inquired, "Is sickness common to all?" "Yes, Prince, it is," said Chinna. Siddhartha became silent. Yet another scene met his eyes. This time it was a dead body being carried to the cremation ground. The prince was surprised to see a man motionless and still being carried on the shoulders of other men. Chenna told him that the man was dead, but the prince found it difficult to understand. In one day he had learned the bitter truths of life which had been hidden from him for 29 years. As he pondered over what he had seen, he saw a recluse and also learned for the first time that there were people who sought solutions to the problems of life through a life of renunciation. The calm and serene face of the recluse made a deep impression upon Siddharth, and he returned to the palace grave and thoughtful. That night he could not sleep. What he had seen during the day kept him awake and thinking. After a while he rose from the bed. In the dead of night he went to his wife's room to see her and his infant son for the last time. He gazed at them with love and then slowly crept out. Siddharth then woke Chenna and asked him to go get his horse ready. He rode till he reached the outskirts of the city and was soon beyond the walls of the fort. The faithful Chenna ran behind the horse. He tried to dissuade his master from taking the terrible step of renunciation, but there was no going back for Siddharth. He was determined to discover the root cause of all the sorrows of the world. Siddharth wandered from place to place in search of enlightenment. He performed austerities for many years. In the end, under the shade of the Bodhi tree, he found answers to the questions that were tormenting him. Prince Siddharth then became Gautam Buddha, the enlightened one.